Martin Scorsese, Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, Joe Pesci, Harvey Keitel, all coming together for a gangster movie. If this is the 1990s, I don't have to make this video. That's a surefire hit. Unfortunately, it's 2018 and a movie like that is not nearly as big a draw as it once was. That's why Paramount Pictures turned it down, and it's why ever since Netflix picked it up, they've been looked at as being huge risk takers. Personally, I'm super excited for it and I think it's going to be great. Before we get to why though, just a quick background on the movie for those who don't know. The Irishman is based on the book I Heard You Paint Houses by Charles Brandt. The book consists of interviews with a man named Frank Sheeran, who talks about a lot of interesting stuff that happened to him, like boxing a kangaroo at a carnival. Side note, if that's not in the movie, then you can forget everything I'm going to say. More importantly though, he talks about his time as a hitman for the Italian mob, and he claims one of the hits he did was on his close personal friend, James Hoffa. Now, James Hoffa famously disappeared in 1975 and his body's never been found. Even the FBI, allegedly, doesn't know what happened to him. And Sheeran says they didn't find a body because there is no body. After they killed him, they cremated him. And the book is full of fascinating stories like this, so there's plenty of material to draw from for the movie. So the movie's being directed by Martin Scorsese, with De Niro playing Frank Sheeran and Pacino as James Hoffa. Now, I've heard a lot of people bring up concerns about this movie and talk about how it's going to be a flop and a disappointment, so I want to play a little game. Let's call it Bring Up Stupid Concern. And, so the most common thing I hear is that they're past their prime and they're too old. Well, first of all, when your prime includes things like The Godfather and Raging Bull and Goodfellas, I'm inclined to pass you a pass on being past your prime. As far as them being old, yeah, they're in their 70s, but if you look as recently as 2015, Pacino in the movie Danny Collins, great performance. Same year, De Niro in The Intern, I thought that was his best role in years. And I've seen recent interviews with all these guys. They seem like themselves. They don't have dementia. You don't forget how to act or direct, so I'm not worried about this at all. The next thing goes sort of hand in hand with that. It's the de-aging process they're going to be using. After all, these guys are playing characters in their 30s and 40s. I was skeptical at first too, but this technology has advanced so much lately. Just look at what they're doing in the MCU. Sam Jackson in Captain Marvel looks just like he did in the 90s. Plus, the budget for The Irishman started off around $100 million, and in post-production, that's ballooned to $175. So clearly they're doing all they can to make sure it looks as good as possible. The last thing I want to touch on is how the gangster genre is dead and how nobody cares about these movies anymore, which is basically true. I mean, the last big mob movie was the 2006 Oscar-winning The Departed, directed by, let's see here, Martin Scorsese. Okay, well, I like that movie, but I don't think it's a classic. So for me, we have to go back all the way to 1995 with Casino, which also happens to be directed by Martin Scorsese and stars Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci. But if we really want to find the last true mega hit gangster movie, we have to go back another 5 years to Goodfellas, which once again stars De Niro and Pesci and is directed by, you guessed it, Martin Scorsese. You see what I'm getting at here? The genre didn't just become bad out of nowhere. The problem is, the right people haven't been making these movies. And now you have basically every legend of the genre who's still alive coming together for one, which is insane to me. I mean, these guys have made some of my favorite movies of all time. That's why I'm looking at this so hopefully, because this won't happen again. This will be the last of its kind, and I truly believe they're going to go out with a bang. But if I still haven't convinced you, then I don't know what else to say except Martin Scorsese, Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, Joe Pesci, Harvey Keitel, and the biggest, baddest gangster of them all, Ray Romano. Yeah. So last time, we got a solid 0 votes in the poll, but I'm not one to give up that easy, so once again, link in the description if you want to vote on your favorite Scorsese movie. Mine is Raging Bull.